I freestyle everything.
Oh, all right. I like that. Yo, do you actually freestyle?
I don't.
Freestyle. I'm up. We're doing the crown, so which I should re-up on the lights.
Thanks to the fire department for that.
What's up, guys? I think we're on the final segment, so
Final segment.
this will be a good one because we're gonna throw this one into my feed. That way, you guys can track these dudes doing this shit out here. And I'm super vague with how I talk because I like using smaller words, simplicity in all things.
Yeah, talk to the third graders out there.
Yeah,
that's what you need to do.
Well, I'm essentially reading to myself when I talk out loud. So.
Is that why you have a whole bunch of pop-up books, things? That
yes.
Yeah, I like pictures. All right, where's Waldo? That was like the books that I loved. Are we back?
There's no reading.
yeah, just find Waldo. I had the red, the blue, the yellow. I had all those. All right.
I just stick to comic books because the pictures really bring it forward.
Let's keep going.
And we're back.
Oh, sorry. We are back.
So we're back. And we already mentioned why you were here a little bit ago. But let's talk about Fieldcraftsurvival and kind of where you got into this awesome organization.
And maybe you can get into what it's about, the different aspects of it, because it's a lot more than just one. It's not just firearms. It's like, it's really involved.
Man, it's a lifestyle thing now. And we've been fortunate to have the people who support us, and in their investment, helping all of us return that to them and be a part of that. To watch people grow is actually pretty spectacular. It feels good. So Fieldcraftsurvival as a whole, and how I ended up there, right? So everything up until my point when I met Mike and the guys at the company, everything from having taught at the police academy and having been a drill sergeant and having taught at other places and taught Indige when I was overseas, all those teaching moments.
And everything we didn't mention in the podcast. Yeah. Damn it! That's so good.
Yeah. Way to preview the next time.
All those moments in time that led to this, to meeting Mike and George, and then when I came on, I kind of came on. I was still a deputy when I met Mike, and I was introduced from a friend. So I didn't know who Mike Glover was, and I didn't know.
Time out. So you just so we can clarify, you said deputy in Chicago PD municipality. You're an officer.
Correct.
So you essentially, we're gonna get to the story why you left. I guess another podcast.
Sure.
But you left Chicago and you became a deputy
in Yavapai County, Arizona.
All right, and we'll leave a cliffhanger there. Is why you left.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify.
It's not really a secret. It's just scenery's better.
Yeah.
The end. So I was a deputy in town.
Sand?
From where? No, that's moon dust.
Way off.
Dude, you went to the third story.
I'll edit that out.
No, leave it. So people were like, Ro's not smart.
What is that wrong with
Justin messed
guy
it up.
in the middle of this there's another guy.
You know what? I almost thought you weren't here, and I look in this direction this whole time, but I don't see you. I'm just kidding.
Just a dummy.
With fleas. Oh my God! I love him. Couldn't do it without him.
That's true.
My left.
Now I get the hard eyes.
See, it all comes back.
I moved on. He has better hair than
so I meet Mike, and then I jump on with the company. I take over the training programs, and early on, we had the goal of multiple classes going on at once and a bunch of things happening and people learning how to just be prepared in survival, be prepared in vehicle tactics, being prepared in staging their vehicle if they go camping, what equipment to bring when you go camping, what would you need if you ran out of water. So everything, how to survive in an urban environment, a rural environment, how to stage your vehicle, medical training, field medicine, so beyond everything that you can think of to just be a prepared human being or the head of the family or even just a part of the family, right, where you have something to contribute. So it goes beyond just firearms. It goes beyond all those things, and it comes from the mastermind of the company who has seen all that. He's worked for multiple agencies, seen the world in ways most people won't. So he's like, well, let's fuse that and give it to the public. And then so he single-handedly started to pick the right people. It made sense to bring a law enforcement guy who dealt with criminals. So how do we prepare ourselves to deal with a criminal event here in America versus in a foreign country, which is more of a terrorist act, right? So the preparations are different. The understanding of the streets are different. The understanding of what you should have in your car are different. So having the right guys, fusing the right guys, and then pushing forward, allowing me to pick guys. So now I'm bringing on all the team. I'm bringing the dudes who are important to the company as far as training goes, and piecing that together was now, well, what it is now is I have the ability to bring guys on like Chris from TTOG, who has a metropolis experience style training from being a law enforcement guy in a big agency, where I can also bring in a MARSOC guy, or I can bring in a small deputy guy who's really great at vehicle stuff in the woods, but he's still a cop, so he can help with all those things, right? So Fieldcraft Survival in general just teaches people to be better prepared for anything that can come their way. It teaches them how to use their equipment, their medical equipment, their guns, everything. I teach people how to fly on planes with guns, obviously not on them, but how to better prepare to start flying and transporting your stuff from different places.
So are you saying on a private or like on a...
No, on public liners. I have a YouTube video that explains everything you need to know about traveling from one state to another with no hiccups. I do it almost every weekend, and it's funny now the airline people know me. So like, oh, again? And I'm like, yeah, here we go again. Like, you know the deal. So we carry the cases here, and it's just a process that once you learn anything, right? So even when I'm traveling places, and Chris and I saw this, we did this playfully when we were in Pennsylvania. I'll map a route one time, and this is constant training, right? This is training for us, and we preach this because we want people to be able to do these things. It's essentially like the message, right, of the company. I'll map the location from point A to point B, and then my job is to learn landmarks along the way.
Yes.
And then I do it in reverse on the way back. So the next day, I don't turn. I put the address in, but I won't launch the directions, and I'll try to get me there. And this is a foreign place I've never been to in a rental car, which isn't mine, so it brakes differently, right? So you're like slamming and all this crazy shit that happens with new cars. So that process of learning and being capable of learning new things all the time and not being comfortable with what you have. Is again the big message. So little things like that is what we preach and we teach people to be better at. So philosophically, it's just be better and be open to accepting information. So, and that goes with everything: relationships, traveling to different places. When you graciously extended the offer to be here, I was like, "There's no doubt I'm not doing that. I'm going."
Awesome.
I even came a day early, just like things like that. Like they matter. And again, it's building the relationships, building the information processing, understanding what information is important, what isn't important. All of that is the just big picture for Fieldcraft Survival as we start to progress really strongly nationwide. Every class we have is sold out.
That's what I was going to ask. So you guys, I don't have to fly to you. You guys are all around the nation.
We're going everywhere. So when people are like, "Oh, I'd really like to see you come to Podunk, Minnesota," I'm like, "Well, we're a 4-hour drive, man. I'm flying all across the country. You can drive a little bit to come take a class. Don't wait for me to go to your 17 people town. We're never going to be there, right? We have people that drive all over to come hang out. Guys that don't want to fly, they'll drive 10, 15, 20 hours to come to a class.
Yeah, it's a road trip.
It is. You get a road trip, you get a weekend, you get some great stuff you weren't doing before, or maybe you fine-tune some things that you didn't know you needed to. It's a really cool
I saw recently that you had some fighting. A little bit of fighting, defensive tactics that you guys have?
Yeah, in Chicago. So our Street Ready Combatives program, it's just a quick immersion into what you may need if you're dealing with somebody who is threatening you with either a knife, a gun, or just empty hands. And again, like these rabbit holes we get into, right? And we just spiral out. There's a huge difference between being threatened with a weapon and being attacked with one. Being threatened still has time where I can create a plan and I can execute a plan. Being attacked, you're already screwed. So you need to just survive and then adapt as quickly as possible. But there's no time anymore, right? The difference between somebody pointing a gun at you and somebody shooting a gun at you is huge. So we teach people from that sense, because the normal person, and I say it in classes to people, it's like, you and myself, we're not special. There's no assassin trying to come kill me. So I shouldn't be learning this like rappel at night, stab somebody in the top of the head, ninja stuff, right? The basic things of just redirecting a gun so it's not pointing at you. or grabbing somebody's wrist who's holding a knife, so now that wrist can't move towards you. It's very simple. It's complex in the emotion of the event, but it's simple to learn and grasp the concepts. And so we give people that. We give them a little bit of training, isolation, and then we throw them in scenarios, and they're like, oh shit, I didn't realize fighting was this exhausting. It's only been 10 seconds.
Yes.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I guess it's something that you don't think about. If someone ever tries to stab me, I'm just gonna grab their wrist and move or redirect. But it's when it happens, you're like, oh shit, how do I defend against this?
Yeah.
And that's where you guys come in,
Right.
That stuff. That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then I saw some tricked out vehicles as well.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man, these things are serious. So you want to talk a little bit about the vehicle upfitting that you guys are doing over there?
Yeah, so our overlanding program or our mobility program is just teaching people how to soup up their trucks so they can take them places where the common vehicle can't make it. So that's kind of like an escape way. You can escape to places where nobody else can follow you. So building out your trucks, having the right stuff put on or taken off, adding fuel tanks, bigger tires, just cool stuff that our mobility side is doing. They're working on a motocross program now, doing a bug out on just motorbikes. So things like that, even a horsemanship program we're going to eventually put out there.
Yeah,
there's a lot that we're trying to do, but mainly it's fusing people with the basics so that we can take those basics and then apply them in scenarios.
Any like, because you said the horseman thing, any spoiler alerts, anything you want to throw out there and tease that you guys have some ambitions to get towards, or you don't want to give away the secrets?
So there's rumors that
I like rumors.
Eventually we will have a facility where if people wanted to come to us, they would get the full experience.
Ooh.
So it's like Disneyland for the tactical community.
Wow.
Whether or not that happens, hey, I'm not making any promises, but there's a rumor out there saying that. We definitely have the right guys to help put it together. So now it's just about the execution of it all.
And sorry, go ahead.
But no, I was looking into some of this, like really just kicking it off since when we had Chris on the show and stuff. He really started talking about the company, and I was looking into the company, and what I found, or the way I felt with it, was just really, it's got that military aspect, and part of it is just that people that aren't in the military, that aren't getting that exposure to this kind of an environment and this type of really technical or high-end training. And then essentially what you're just creating, in my opinion, is just good Americans, just really using what America has in place and the abilities and the freedoms that they allow us to have, and just educating people that, like, you don't have to just be that drive to work, go to work, come home, make dinner, go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more that you can learn about, and you can be that person, but then also be this other type person, or be this other person, and you can just live your whole life around it. And it looks really cool, like all the additional stuff that you guys are adding in and everything. Just
well, it's cool that you say that, because here's the thing, right? A lot of people have this this regret of not doing the military, or this regret of not doing this or that. Just get over it. Unless you're gonna join the military, forget about it, and utilize the guys who are coming back with that same training, and they're offering for you to do that without ever having to leave your home. You can go back every night, do training, go home. Do training, go home. We get it. You're a responsible adult. You can't make the choices we made as kids to do the military stuff because we were all young. So utilize those resources. Find those guys with that information and learn the stuff you wanted to learn, instead of just being like, no, I'm never going to be able to do it. I get it. Maybe you won't join the military, but I'll teach you everything I learned. And if it's the information that you're after, which is the true purpose of being better, right? Not the label or the title that I did this or I did that.
Yeah.
If you're looking for information to just be better for you and your family, we offer that, like, gladly. One of my biggest things, and I say it all the time, is if I cannot share my stuff, my information, the things that I picked up, I will not be happy. Like, I need to share, and like, man, I learned this really great thing that kept me alive. You need to know this. And then maybe if it's nothing to you, at least I shared it. And then I'm okay. I feel better, right?
Yeah.
So that sharing those things, that's the passion of the company. And don't be shy about it. Like you said, everyday dudes that just want to come learn some stuff they didn't know, show up. We do it all the time. People come in and their biggest thank you is, I would have never have learned that anywhere else. Thanks for being open and like having the platform to do so.
And I mean, if there's pandemic type stuff and just looking at all that we've been going through for the last 6 months, it's like, if it hasn't made you really think about just the extent of where your world can be rocked, what you're looking at, but and then so with law enforcement, there's a law enforcement side. You, like you said, you've already bringing in law enforcement background. So how would you encourage somebody, like say like myself, like a law enforcement officer, that I feel that your departments are limited in how much training they can truly provide to you. Like what can you guys offer as far as for a law enforcement officer?
Yeah. So we do a lot of law enforcement training, which is one of our pride and joys. Like I was just in an email this morning, and the guy's like, "Oh, I got deployed, so I wasn't the one in charge of this. I'm back now. Did it ever get paid? Can you guys come do this?" I'm like, "We never got paid, man, and I need to change dates if you still want it." He's like, "Yeah, for sure." So how it translates to them is, what I like to tell law enforcement guys when they go to training, go there for a specific thing that you're looking to learn. Don't just show up being like, "I'm here for the day." Come with something that you want to learn, because chances are I can isolate that and give it to you. So if one dude's like, "I need marksmanship because I want to pass the qual for SWAT." Cool, man, this is what we'll work on, and I'll give you some drills to work on here. One guy's like, "Hey man, I'm doing search warrants, so I'm really close in proximity to all the things, all things bad guys. We're in a house, we're in a closet, we're in this. How should I manipulate my gun if I have to," right? So then it's like, cool, man, let's work from retention. So coming with an idea of what you want to learn or be better at helps with law enforcement. But I think what helps the law enforcement guys the most is the relevancy of stories and being like, been there. This will help with that. Yeah. Don't waste your time with this. Minimize your kit. Chances are, so here's an example. I put anything and everything you can think of when I was a brand new rookie, and then I get in my first foot chase and I'm losing everything, and I'm like, oh shit, what's more important, picking up my stuff or catching that dude? And I had to make a choice. I made the choice then to just go back and get all my stuff.
Me too.
Right? See?
Me too.
Dude, I was like, but I need it, and I'm putting it in pockets, and I'm like, you know what? He lives in this area. I'll find him again. But after that, I learned a valuable thing then, and we pass it on. I'm like, hey, you don't need 1,000 magazines. You don't, right? You know what kind of cop you are. You're the guy that chases, or you're the guy that gets in the car and chases in a car, right? So configure your setup. Belt kits are set up for different purposes, so it shouldn't be a universal thing. Things like that I'll share with guys. Be like, hey man, why do you have that on your belt? And he's like, I don't know, because they told us that's where it goes. Right, that's not the right answer, right?
The position, or because some, like our agency, you're required to wear 2 less than lethal options.
Right.
But it's like, and now I guess it would go to the position of where you wear it.
Yeah, well that would be the individual choice, right? You have to have 2, figure it out. But what happens is they're told which is the best configuration, and then they just never modify it to their personality and how they would actually use it.
This is the way I saw it on YouTube, so
right.
it must be the right way.
In 2 years, I've never pulled it out, except for in training. And one of the other things that I heard you say on a different show was the individualized, the fact that, in the lane that the person's in getting trained, you're able to give them good one-on-one time that they may not get maybe in the department or wherever they might receive training.
So any training that anybody does, and if you're a professional instructor, trainer, coach, whatever you're doing, right? Because the term coach it's a movement, right? It's sitting in coach on a plane. Well, what's the plane doing? It's going somewhere, right? So as a coach, as an instructor, as a mentor, you have to take somebody from point A to point B. And if you're not doing that, if you're just telling them stuff and not guiding them, not actually fixing them individually, you're really not doing your job, and you're just a dude who wants to be cool on the internet, right? So the whole individualized training, there's some drills that I do that give me an insight into the individual. So then I'll watch each one of the guys do it, and I'm like, okay, cool, I pretty much figured out what I can give them that'll make them better faster, right? It's like the low-hanging fruit concept, like, hey, just fix this and you'll be way better. And so if I can give those little individual nuggets to guys, that's what I do every class. Every class I touch everybody's gun. I make sure that I give them individual pointers, and I tell them like, hey, we're here to work individually, but we're a collective. So be safe with each other, obviously, but we're here. We all paid individually to learn something for ourselves in a group setting, and that's a big one for our company, is making sure that everybody gets a little bit of what they came to get.
So I'm trying to track on that. So it's not we're going to do a CQB course. It's this
close quarter combat.
Sorry, I apologize. Close quarter combat course. Or is it we're going to show up today at the range and you tell me what you need?
No.
There's a title, and then while they're there, then you break it down. Hey, by the way, you're slapping the trigger, or you're not shouldering it right, or whatever. So is that what essentially you're talking about? Is that like,
no.
I'm here to do marksmanship, and that guy's doing CQB on the lane 1?
No.
I
see what you're saying, because it sounds like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's really happening?
Yeah.
No, there's a loose guide / curriculum, and it's just designed to give you what we value as fundamentals from experiences that we've all had, and what's the most important thing that we see or have determined. And so how it's catered to the individual, though we have this template, we won't shift or stay on the template because we have to.
Okay.
If 40% of the guys are struggling with one, because there's only so many ways we move physically, right? And there's only so many ways to solve a problem that isn't really a problem, it's a lack of understanding. So it's more about giving them the understanding, and then they apply that learned behavior to the task. But he may learn different than you, or he may be one step behind you. So catching him up one step, giving you more reps, and now you guys are moving together. So the idea is to get everybody to move together, but individually they're making their own progress. So it isn't a show up, what do you want? Justin, what do you want? What do you want, Chris? And then we'll tailor the class. It's not that.
Okay.
We're all going somewhere together, and there's a purpose.
I'm tracking now. I just was like, but you got me back up there. So tell me what it was about Chris. I wish he was here. What it was about Chris. Just give me a small little nugget. I want to throw him a bone, because he's the one who put me in contact with you. He said, hey, my man's coming down here. He's a good dude, and he knows his shit.
Well, Chris alone is a powerhouse with his company here in Florida. Like this whole region, even the two states above. He's got a good foothold, and he does really good things. So it only made sense, right? If you want the best guys, you align yourself with the best guys.
Yeah.
So in conversation, see, that's why you two are together. That was like the weirdest fist bump.
Yeah, it's left.
It actually kind of hurt a little bit.
So yeah, that's how. So I met Chris because we needed help finding a range after one range had closed on us, and one conversation, and the problem was solved. And guys like that are hard to come by. Yeah. So it only made sense to align Fieldcraft with TTOG and Chris himself. And so now he's a huge part of our company and does a lot for us. Obviously, things like this.
Yeah, that's good.
Right?
Thank you, Chris.
Now I have a really cool project coming up with howitzer manufacturing, thanks to Chris and planting that seed, and that's going to be a good one.
That just happened like 5 minutes ago too.
It did.
And very soft.
The things that happen that you don't know are happening.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of relationships, when people do things without asking, without a concern, without anything for you or for them. It's just manifesting, right?
Yeah.
Just like this. I was excited about this. I have no idea where this is going to go. But I know that I wanted to meet you guys, and I wanted to do this. Who cares where it goes, right?
Yeah.
Now I have two more dudes that I can hang out with in fucking Florida. And
in an awesome studio.
And he refused to eat a donut.
Because I can't eat that. It's not real. I would have totally eaten it if they were real.
Movie magic.
Quick shout outs to, if you don't mind, I just
go for it,
the
man.
people that hook me up with a lot of stuff. Triarch Systems, they do great guns. They hook me up with. They have a Tri-11, so a 2011 version. It's a great pistol. It's a Cadillac, man. It shoots like a fucking dream. Their carbines are awesome. Shout out to Type A Rifles. They're also out of Texas. They just built me this really cool SOG MAC-B, like type Vietnam looking little commando rifle. And I'll show you guys. It's sick. It's even sprayed like we're in Vietnam. Like I want to go dress up. It's so cool. It shoots great. Palm Beach Tactical, man, he's a cool dude. When I'm in Florida, I like seeing him. And then us, obviously, Fieldcraftsurvival for doing what we do.
Which you're talking about a lot of cool stuff. Sounds awesome. Man, I would love to see it. Guess what? You can on YouTube. You know what I mean? Bam! They have a sick. I know my people that are watching like, yeah, we know.
Yeah,
But
they don't need our pub. But
those of you 3 people that don't know, sick YouTube channel to go check them out, and you have a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
We'll put all that stuff down below.
It's infant. Mine's infant. It's not as amazing as yours. It's infant. I just started it like a week ago.
So same with TTOG. He's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I
too.
follow that page.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come and subscribe to yours too.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. With that being said,
yeah, man.
you want to wrap it up? You got anything you want to shout out to the audience, to the Donut Shop podcast?
Yeah. Hey, if you guys are coppers thinking about it, or not coppers, but you're thinking about it to become law enforcement or even the military, just do it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to wait or dwell. You'll regret it later. But there's time. If you have time, do it. I know guys that want to go to units. The only way to get good at being the unit, figure out what the unit wants, and then make yourself that standard. Chris talks about it all the time. Yeah. Be the standard, and then nobody will question your positions or where you're trying to go. Stop being soft, man, and then stop being emotionally compromised. If you're a cop and people motherfuck you, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares, man? They're not mad at Steve. They're not mad at Tim, the person who you are.
Yeah.
They're mad at an authority that represents something that they don't like either about themselves or something in their upbringing. So don't take it personally. Stay the fucking course and be a professional.
Outstanding. I think we should.
What needs to be is just end it.
That's gonna be the title of the show. Stay
Yeah.
the fucking course and be professional. Hey,
And be outstanding.
yeah,
That's what I think.
was that standing or?
No, it's professional.
Well, anyways, listen. I appreciate you. You got off a 4-hour flight. Drove about an hour, right? It was about an hour with traffic.
In the rain.
Miami traffic out of control. Stopped by Starbucks. You looked a little tired, and then you're like, you know what? When it's time to rock and roll, it's time to rock and roll, and you rock and roll.
Thanks, bro.
So
People matter, man. You guys matter. So.
Hey, man. Thanks so much. We want to salute to your fake water. Salute to your fake water.
Cheers.
I'll still drink it, even though you put your mouth on it.
Hey,
I don't care.
here's to the next time. Don't worry, I don't have fleas.
Later.
Good? Good?
No, we do it.
Man,
How long was that one?
hour and 10 for sure. I don't know if I went over.
An hour and 43, but with the wasted time,
I gotta tell you guys.
It's at least it was at least an hour 20.
I'm gonna tell you this because I listened to all of them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I listened to all of them. I listened
But he's listening to like I'm better than that guy.
No. Listen, I
I'm not
listened
joking.
to. I listened to theirs. I listened to yours. I listened to. Dude, if it's going, let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking let it go, bro.
Yeah.
Because look, whether somebody's watching it for 30 minutes or 2 hours, if you have their attention, you got it.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's it.
I got one.
Don't get lost in the weed of fuck, we're on a time limit, time hack, boom,
Should I
boom.
plug it in?
You know what I mean?
Should I plug it in?
And
It's
I think
flashing
as you
limits.
guys evolve and you grow,
Yeah.
that's something that you should look at.